Your attention performs quantum collapse. Every time you consciously observe, you force infinite possibility to choose one outcome. This is physics, not philosophy. This is the observer effect, and it gives you full control of your reality. In the next 45 minutes, I'm going to show you the peer-reviewed experiments that prove it beyond all doubt. I will walk you through the undeniable evidence that your awareness is the most powerful creative force in the universe. And then, I'll give you the exact protocol to use this cosmic law to engineer your life with precision and predictability. If you've ever felt like you're doing everything right, the affirmations, the visualizations, the gratitude journals, but still not seeing results, it's because you've been missing this one foundational key. You've been trying to change the reflection in the mirror without realizing you are the one casting it. This isn't a New Age theory or a hopeful metaphor. This is the undeniable conclusion of the double-slit experiment, a cornerstone of quantum mechanics that physicists have replicated thousands of times since it was first conceived. It is the bedrock of the science that powers your phone, your computer, the entire digital world. And its conclusion is so profound, so paradigm-shattering, that many of the physicists who discovered it struggled to accept its implications. The experiment proves, without ambiguity, that the fundamental particles that make up our universe exist in a state of pure, infinite potential, a wave of every possibility happening at once, until the moment they are observed. The moment of observation forces all possibilities to collapse into a single, concrete reality. Your observation. This is the mechanism, the hidden engine of creation that has been running in the background of your life. Unnoticed. You've been collapsing reality your entire existence, but you've been doing it unconsciously, by default, based on old programming, past traumas, and collective beliefs. And that is the source of all your frustration. Have you ever felt a deep sense of frustration? Like you're screaming into the void, trying to change your life with no tangible effect? You repeat the words, you try to conjure the feelings, you follow all the steps you've been taught, but your reality remains stubbornly the same. It's a uniquely painful experience, a spiritual exhaustion that leads to a deep, corrosive self-doubt. You start to wonder, is it me? Am I doing it wrong? Am I just not worthy of the life I desire? The answer is no. You were never the problem. The methods were. You were given a powerful, high-performance vehicle, but no one ever told you where the ignition was. You've been trying to push the car up the hill with sheer force of will, affirmations, and hope. It's exhausting, and it gets you nowhere. The observer effect is the ignition. It is the missing piece of the puzzle that turns your conscious effort from a hopeful wish into a causal, creative act. It is the master key that starts the engine. If this scientific, evidence-based approach to reality creation resonates with you, hit the like button now. It tells the algorithm this is the kind of depth our community is looking for. To truly grasp how this works, we need a new metaphor. The old ones have failed us. Let's use one grounded in the physics itself. Imagine the quantum field. The infinite potential from which all things emerge is an infinite library of unplayed films. Every possible version of your life, every potential outcome, every reality you can possibly imagine already exists within this library as a dormant film reel. A reality where you are healthy, a reality where you are wealthy, a reality where you are in a loving relationship. All of them are there, sitting in the dark, silent, and unmanifested. They are pure potential. Now imagine your consciousness, your focused awareness, is a projector, a quantum projector. Until you turn on that projector and choose a film, they all exist only as potential. The light of your attention is the force that selects one of those films from the infinite library, threads it into the machine, and projects it onto the screen of your three-dimensional world as your experienced reality. You are not creating the film. It already exists. You are simply selecting which one to play. This is the critical shift. For too long, you've been taught to struggle, to strive, to build your desired life brick by painful brick. The quantum reality is far more elegant. Your work is not to build, it is to select. Your power is not in the struggle, it is in the focus of your observation. By the end of this, you'll stop being a passive audience member watching a film you don't like, feeling powerless to change the story. You will stand up, walk to the back of the theater, and realize you are not in the audience at all. You are the projectionist, and you get to choose the reality you experience starting now. So let's put this under the microscope. Let's move from a powerful idea to an undeniable physical law. The experiment that shattered our classical understanding of the universe is called the double-slit experiment, and its conclusion is so bizarre, so profound, that the greatest minds in physics have spent a century grappling with its implications for the nature of reality itself. Imagine a simple setup. You have a device that fires single electrons, tiny particles of matter, one at a time. In front of it is a barrier with two vertical slits, side by side. Behind that barrier is a detector screen, like a photographic plate, that will record where each electron lands. It's straightforward. First, let's fire these electrons with only one slit open. As you'd expect, the electrons that pass through the slit hit the screen behind it, forming a single band. It makes perfect sense. They behave like tiny marbles. Now we open the second slit. Logic dictates that we should now see two parallel bands on the screen, one corresponding to each slit. But this is not what happens. Instead, a completely different pattern emerges on the screen. It's an interference pattern, a series of multiple bands, light and dark, spread across the screen. This pattern is the unmistakable signature of a wave. A wave, like in water, that passes through both slits at the same time, interfering with itself on the other side. This is the first shock. The single electron, a particle of matter, is somehow acting like a wave. It is not choosing one slit or the other. It is going through both slits simultaneously as a wave of pure potential. This state of existing in all possible states at once is called superposition. The electron isn't here or there. It is everywhere it could possibly be, all at once. But this is where it gets truly paradigm shifting. The physicists, naturally confused, decided to watch. They placed a tiny detector by the slits to observe which one the electron actually goes through. They wanted to catch it in the act. And the moment they did, everything changed. The moment the detector was turned on, the moment an observation was made, the interference pattern vanished completely. The electrons stopped behaving like waves. They started behaving like particles again, like simple marbles, creating two distinct bands on the screen exactly as classical logic predicted. Let that sink in. The act of looking changed the outcome. The act of measuring which path the particle took forced the particle to choose a single path. The wave of infinite potential collapsed into a single, measurable, experienced reality. The observer was not a passive bystander. The observer was the force that caused the collapse. So when you ask, how does the observer effect work? This is the answer. Your observation, your measurement, your focused awareness is the force that commands the quantum field of infinite possibility to collapse into one single experience. It is the fundamental mechanism of creation. This is not my opinion. This is the repeatable, undeniable conclusion of the most tested experiment in all of science. And the protocol for wielding this cosmic law, for becoming the conscious observer that collapses the reality you choose, is what I call the Observer Collapse Protocol. This protocol is the user manual for the quantum projector we spoke of earlier. It is the engineering process for creation. Because if your observation is the force that collapses potential into reality, then you need to become a master engineer of your observation. This is precisely why the old methods have been so frustratingly inconsistent for you. Think about it. Affirmations, vision boards, endless visualizations. What are they really? In the context of our metaphor, they are all focused on the film. You're describing the film you want to see. You're holding up a picture of the film's poster. You're screaming the title of the film at the screen, but you have been completely ignoring the most critical component, the projector light. The light of the projector is your conscious awareness. It is your focused attention. It is the very energy of observation that quantum mechanics proves is the causal force. You can have the most perfect, high-definition, award-winning film of abundance and health sitting right there. But if your projector light, your consciousness, is flickering with doubt, if it's unfocused by a million distractions, if the lens is smeared with the grime of past traumas and limiting beliefs, what gets projected onto the screen of your life? Chaos. a distorted, blurry mess, a painful mix of the new film you want and all the old films of fear, lack, and disappointment that your projector is still aimed at. You have been trying to change the movie on the screen, fighting with the shadows without realizing the entire mechanism of creation happens inside the projector. You don't change the screen, you change the projection. This brings us to the new paradigm, the shift that changes everything. The key is not wanting. Wanting, by its very nature, is an observation of lack. It is a powerful observation aimed directly at the reality of not having. The key is not hoping. Hoping is an admission that the outcome is up to chance. The key is observing. Pure, focused, non-judgmental observation of the potential reality you choose as if it were already here. It is the act of turning the full, undivided, coherent light of your consciousness onto one single film in the infinite library of the quantum field and holding it there until that becomes the only thing being projected. This is the observer effect explained in the simplest possible terms. Observation creates reality. It is not a metaphor. It is the law. You are not trying to attract a reality. You are collapsing it into existence with the force of your attention. We have been raised under a silent, universal assumption, an assumption so profound, so deeply embedded in our culture, our language, and our science, that we never thought to question it. The assumption is that you are a character inside of a story called your life. You believe you are on the screen, an actor subject to the plot, reacting to the scenes as they unfold, trying your best to influence a narrative that is fundamentally outside of your control. We are taught to be better actors, to play our part well, to fight against the villains and strive for the happy ending written by an unknown author. This is the deepest, most subtle form of hopelessness, the belief that you are, at your core, an effect, not a cause. But the quantum revelation, the earth-shattering truth demonstrated by the physics of the observer effect, is this: you are not the actor on the screen. You have never been the actor on the screen. You are the projectionist, sitting in the quiet, dark booth, choosing which reality to play. This is the central paradox. We've been living our lives staring at the screen, completely forgetting that we are the one running the projector. This isn't a metaphor for positive thinking. This is the operational reality of the cosmos. Your consciousness, your focused awareness, is the light of the projector. The quantum field is the infinite library of films. And the reality you experience is simply the film you have chosen to illuminate with your attention. This changes everything. Absolutely everything. If you are the projectionist, it means you are not a victim of circumstance. Circumstances are images on a screen, and you can change the real at any moment. It means reality is not fixed, solid, and unchangeable. It is fluid, potential, and responsive. It waits for your direction. It waits for your observation. Most importantly, this means you are not trying to attract things into your life from some far-off separate universe. The idea of attraction implies separation. It implies you are here and what you want is over there, and you must do things to bridge the gap. That is the old powerless model. The quantum model shows there is no gap to bridge. Everything you could ever possibly want, be, or experience already exists as a complete, finished film in the quantum library. Health is a film. Abundance is a film. Deep, fulfilling love is a film. Your task is not to create the film from scratch, frame by painful frame. Your task is to select it. You are not attracting. You are selecting. This is the great shift in approach. It is the difference between struggle and selection. When you don't like the movie that is playing, you stop fighting with the shadows on the screen. You don't yell at the characters. You don't try to reason with the plot. That is madness. It is a waste of energy. It feeds the very reality you wish to change with your most precious resource, your attention. Instead, you turn away from the screen. You turn your full, undivided attention to the new reality you wish to project. You take the old film out and you put the new one in. You stop giving your observational energy to the story of lack, of loneliness, of struggle. You withdraw your consciousness from it, and that reality, starved of the light that gives it life, begins to dissolve. Creation becomes an act of selection, not a battle of will. You simply choose, and you observe your choice into being. This is the identity transformation you must undergo. It is the final, crucial step. You must stop identifying as the character on the screen. You must fully embody the identity of the projectionist. This means you are not a seeker trying to find happiness. You are a creator selecting it. You are not a victim of your past, hoping for a better future. The past is just an old movie you keep replaying. You are the observer of the future you are choosing now. This is the deepest, most practical explanation of how to use the observer effect to manifest. It isn't a technique you do for 5 minutes a day. It is a fundamental shift in who you believe you are. When you walk through your day, you no longer see a fixed, solid world you have to react to. You see a shimmering field of potential, a reality held in place only by your continued observation of it. And you know with a calm, unshakable certainty that you can turn your head, shift your focus, and observe a new world into existence. You are the causal force. You are the source of the light. What if the reality you desire isn't something you need to build, but a film that already exists in the quantum library, waiting for you to simply observe it into existence? This shift from character to projectionist isn't silent. It's not a subtle, internal change that happens without a trace. When you start operating as the cause, as the observer who collapses reality, the universe leaves evidence. It leaves fingerprints, quantum fingerprints. But here is the critical part, the part that causes so many to give up right before their breakthrough. These signs are almost always counterintuitive. They don't look like success. They often feel like failure, like chaos, like you're going backward. I am about to show you the 3 most powerful quantum fingerprints that prove your new reality is loading. And once you learn to read them, you will never doubt your power again. You will stop misinterpreting the very evidence that proves the system is working. The first sign is the purge. This is the most misunderstood and yet the most definitive sign of a quantum shift. Suddenly, your life seems to get messier. A relationship that was already rocky finally ends. A job you were tolerating suddenly becomes unbearable. Or you get laid off. Unexpected expenses appear. The very foundations of your old reality begin to crumble, sometimes violently. Our old conditioning screams that this is a disaster. It tells us we've failed, that our focus isn't working, that things are getting worse. That is a complete misreading of the data. Think of it like this. You cannot renovate a room without first making a mess. You have to pull up the old carpet, tear down the old wallpaper, move the old furniture out. During this process, the room looks far worse than it did before you started. It's chaotic, dusty, and uninhabitable. This is precisely what happens on an energetic level. The stable, coherent pattern of your old reality must be destabilized and dismantled before the new one can materialize. The purge is the energetic demolition crew arriving. It is the sound of old structures, old beliefs, and old timelines being cleared away to make space. It feels like loss, but it is actually the creation of a vacuum. And that vacuum is what pulls your new reality into physical form. So when the chaos begins, do not panic. Do not rush to patch up the old reality. Observe it, acknowledge it, and know with unshakable certainty that it is the most powerful proof that your work is working. The demolition is underway. The site is being prepared. The second quantum fingerprint is the echo. This is more subtle, but equally profound. As you hold your focus on a new reality, the universe begins to send you echoes of it from the future. We call these synchronicities. You think of an old friend, and they text you an hour later. You decide on a new career path, and suddenly you see articles and advertisements for that exact field everywhere. You keep glancing at the clock and seeing repeating numbers, 1 on 11, 222, 444. You hear a specific, unusual word in a conversation, and then you hear it again on 3 separate occasions throughout the day. These are not meaningless coincidences. In the metaphor of the quantum projector, this is the universe confirming it has received your signal. It's like a cosmic read receipt. The new film you have selected from the quantum library is beginning to resonate with your current reality, and these are the first frequencies bleeding through. It's an echo bouncing back from the event you have already created on a quantum level. The mistake most people make is to get excited for a moment and then dismiss it. They see it as a fun little oddity. But a quantum engineer does not dismiss data. You must start treating these echoes as confirmations. Each synchronicity is a node on your new timeline, a breadcrumb trail assuring you that you are on the right path. They are the universe whispering, signal received, new projection loading, stand by. The third and most powerful sign is the unreality shift. This one can be jarring. You will experience moments where your current life feels strange, distant, or unreal. It might feel like you're watching a movie of your own life. You'll look at your job, your home, your daily routines, and feel a profound sense of detachment, as if it all belongs to someone else. This is not dissociation in a negative sense. This is the consciousness of the projectionist beginning to pull back from the screen. In order to fully inhabit a new reality, your consciousness must first begin to disidentify from the old one. This feeling of unreality is the space being created between you, the observer, and the reality you are about to leave behind. It is the ultimate proof that you are no longer entangled with the old projection. You've stopped believing you are the character on the screen and are remembering you are in the projection booth. This is the final stage before the new film begins to play. It's a feeling of being in between worlds. It can feel lonely or confusing if you don't understand what it is, but now you do. It is the final exhale before the new beginning. It is the ultimate sign of your impending shift. The purge, the echo, and the unreality shift. These are not random events. They are data points. They are evidence. Stop judging the signs as good or bad and start collecting them. Become a scientist of your own reality, observing the evidence of your shift with a calm, detached certainty. The chaos is proof of demolition. The synchronicities are proof of connection. The detachment is proof of your rising perspective. Which of these signs have you been ignoring or misjudging as negative? And how do you see it now as proof of your power? Comment which of the 3 signs you've been experiencing the most. Let's validate each other's quantum shifts. I read every single comment. You understand it? You see the evidence? Now let's become it. Knowledge is the map, but it is not the territory. You have studied the schematics of the projector. You have learned how it works. But reading the user manual for a starship is not the same as piloting it through the cosmos. It is time to move beyond the metaphor and have a direct experience of being the creative source. I invite you now, if you are in a safe and comfortable place to do so, to close your eyes. Take a deep, slow breath in, and as you exhale, release the day. Release the identity you think you are. Release the story you have been telling. Let it all fall away. Bring your awareness inward, past the noise of the mind, past the sensations of the body, deeper, into the vast, silent space within you. This is the theater. Feel its infinite expanse. It is dark. It is silent. It is perfectly still. There is nothing here, and yet everything is here. This is the quantum field of pure, unmanifest potential, the silent womb of all realities waiting for a signal, waiting for a light. This is your creative ground zero. Now, from this place of pure potential, allow one desired reality to gently emerge. Not the details, not the specifics, not the how or the when. Do not try to visualize it with your mind. Instead, I want you to feel it. What is the core emotional frequency of this reality fully realized? What does it feel like in your body to be the person who is living this now? Scan your being for that signature feeling. Is it the profound, calm resonance of deep peace? Is it the vibrant, electric hum of unbridled passion and purpose? Is it the warm, expansive glow of unconditional love and connection? Don't think the word. Feel the state. Locate that feeling. It might be subtle at first. A faint whisper. That's okay. Now, become aware of your awareness. That focused attention you are using right now, that is the light. It is the most powerful, causal force in the universe. It is the beam of the quantum projector. Gather that light. Gather all of your conscious energy, all of your focus. Pull it from the past, pull it from the future, into this single, eternal moment. And now, focus that concentrated beam of pure awareness directly onto that feeling. Illuminate it, amplify it. Saturate every cell of your being with this single emotional frequency. Let it become so dominant, so all-consuming, that there is no room for anything else. No room for doubt. No room for the old story. There is only this feeling. This is the act of collapsing the wave function. You are holding one potential steady with the light of your observation. Stay with it. Breathe into it. And now the final step, the great collapse. Dissolve the separation. Let go of the idea that you are an observer focusing on a feeling. Merge with it. There is no longer a you and a reality you desire. There is only the reality. You are not observing the peace, you are the peace. You are not feeling the love, you are the love. You are not witnessing freedom, you are freedom itself. You are not the projectionist watching the film. You are the film. You are the light. You are the screen. All one. You are not creating the reality. You are the reality being observed into existence by its own self-awareness. Remain in this state of unity, this state of being. This is your true nature. And now, very gently, begin to bring your awareness back to the physical senses. Feel the chair beneath you. Hear the sounds in the room. But do not leave that core feeling behind. Bring it with you. Anchor it in your heart, in your belly, in your bones. That feeling is not a memory of a pleasant meditation. That feeling is the frequency. It is the resonant signature of the reality you just collapsed from the quantum field. It is the most tangible, real thing you can possess. When you are ready, you can slowly open your eyes. As you embodied that reality, what single word or feeling emerged as its undeniable essence? Gratitude? Freedom? Peace? You have felt your power. You have moved beyond theory and into direct, somatic experience. You are no longer a passive viewer, hoping the film changes. You are a quantum engineer, and here are your primary tools. Your operating manual for the physics of reality creation. This is where the esoteric becomes the practical. The first tool is the most critical. It is called observational purity. This is the art and science of observing your desired reality without the contamination of doubt, impatience, or need. The mistake almost everyone makes is they try to observe their new reality, but they do it from the energetic standpoint of their old one. They are constantly checking over their shoulder to see if it's working. They are looking for evidence, but the act of looking for evidence is a quantum declaration that you do not yet have it. It broadcasts a frequency of lack, and the quantum field, which only responds to what you are, dutifully collapses a reality that matches your broadcast. A reality of more lacking, more waiting, more searching. Observational purity means you observe from the state of it already being done. You are not a scientist looking at an experiment, hoping for a result. You are a historian documenting a fact that has already occurred. You feel it, know it, and embody it with such certainty that your inner world becomes more real than the outer world. When you look at your bank account and see a number you don't prefer, you don't deny it, but you don't give it your primary observation. Your primary pure observation is held on the feeling, the absolute knowing of the number you have already selected. You observe from the destination, not from the journey. This is the master key. This isn't faking it, it's engineering it. The second tool is the reality diet. Your attention, your observational energy, is the most valuable currency in the cosmos. It is the literal light of the projector. Whatever it illuminates appears on the screen of your life. For years, you have been unconsciously illuminating the films you don't want to see. You've been feeding the old story. The reality diet is the conscious withdrawal of your observational energy from everything you no longer wish to create. It means you stop talking about how bad things are. You stop complaining about your boss. You stop replaying old arguments in your mind. You stop commiserating with friends about your shared lack. Every time you do this, you are taking your powerful projector light and shining it directly on the film, titled What I Do Not Want, and the universe, as a faithful projector, plays it for you. To be clear, this is not about spiritual bypassing or pretending problems don't exist. It is about astrophysics. It is about defunding a reality you don't prefer. You take away its power source. You starve it of your attention. When you feel the urge to complain, you catch yourself. When you start to retell the old victim story, you stop. You don't judge yourself. You simply recognize you are a quantum engineer about to misallocate the most powerful creative force in the universe. And you choose in that moment to place that energy elsewhere. You are not ignoring reality. You are deselecting it. The third tool ensures you can do this consistently. It's your failsafe, it's your instant recalibration device. We call it the collapse anchor. In the last exercise, you touched the core feeling of your new reality. You felt its emotional frequency: freedom, peace, certainty, abundance. That feeling is not just an emotion, it is a measurable frequency. It is the signature of a specific parallel reality. A collapse anchor is a physical or mental trigger you consciously link to that frequency. Choose one now. It can be the simple act of touching your thumb and index finger together. It can be a single word you speak silently to yourself, a word that emerged for you in that meditation. Maybe that word is done, or home, or flow. Now you anchor it. Close your eyes for just a moment. Bring back that core feeling of your desired reality as powerfully as you can. Feel it in every cell of your body. As the feeling peaks, fire your anchor. Press your fingers together. Whisper your word. Do this again and again. You are creating a neurosomatic link between a physical action and a quantum state. Now, when you are out in the world and the old reality tries to pull you back in, when a bill arrives, when you hear bad news, when you feel the old doubt creeping in, you don't fight it. You don't analyze it. You simply quietly fire your anchor. You press your fingers together. Instantly, your nervous system will be reminded of the new reality. Your brain will access the feeling of it. Your energetic broadcast will shift from the frequency of the problem to the frequency of the solution already being real. It is your quantum reset button, pulling you out of the audience and putting you back in the projectionist's booth. So, let's put this all together in a simple, practical framework, an integration protocol for the quantum engineer. This is a 5-minute daily practice. You awaken. Before you check your phone, before you allow the momentum of the old reality to grab you, you spend 2 minutes becoming the light. You close your eyes and you activate the feeling of the reality you are now choosing. You don't visualize it, you embody it. You perform observational purity, knowing it is already done. Then, you go about your day with 2 missions. First, use your collapse anchor as your primary navigational tool. Anytime you feel yourself drifting into the old frequency, you fire it. It is your compass, constantly pointing you back to your true north. Second, you commit to the reality diet. You consciously refuse to pour your observational energy into the patterns you are leaving behind. That is the work. Simple, precise, powerful. This isn't about hope anymore. It's about physics. What is the very first old story or pattern you will consciously withdraw your observational energy from? Starting right now, you now possess the master key of reality creation. It's not a belief. It's not a hope. It is the fundamental law of physics upon which our universe operates. The observer effect. You have the science that proves it, you have the signs to validate it, and you have the practical tools to engineer it. This is a graduation, a fundamental shift in your identity from someone who experiences reality to someone who causes it. You are no longer living in the wake of circumstance. You are the bow of the ship, cutting through the quantum sea, creating the wake yourself. You are operating as the cause, not the effect. But collapsing your personal reality is just the first step. This entire journey, this protocol, has been about you becoming the master projectionist of your own theater, choosing the film you wish to experience. But what if I told you that you were never just the projectionist? What if I told you that this entire time you've also been the architect of the theater itself? What if your observation is not an isolated event, a single beam of light in a dark room? What if that projector, your consciousness, is connected to every other projector in the cosmos, broadcasting in perfect unison? This is where we leave the shore of personal creation and venture into the vast ocean of cosmic co-creation. This is the domain of quantum entanglement. Entanglement is one of the most rigorously tested and proven phenomena in all of science. Einstein famously called it spooky action at a distance because it defies our classical understanding of space and time. It proves that two particles, once connected, remain linked instantly and perfectly, no matter how far apart they are, whether it's an inch or a million light years. On a quantum level, separation is an illusion. Everything is fundamentally, irrevocably connected. Now think about what this means. When the immense creative power of your focused observation, the observer effect, meets the undeniable, infinite interconnectedness of quantum entanglement, something extraordinary happens. Your act of collapsing a wave function is no longer just for you. It sends a ripple across the entire quantum field. You gain the ability to influence not just your personal reality, but to contribute to the collective field. You begin to harmonize with a cosmic symphony. This is the next layer of your power. Subscribe and turn on all notifications. In our next video, Quantum Entanglement Explained. How your consciousness is connected to everything. We explore this next layer, and you will not want to miss it. We will break down the science of non-locality and what it means for your connection to the people, opportunities, and events in your life. We will show you how this universal connection is the mechanism behind what we call intuition, synchronicity, and even shared inspiration. After that, we dive even deeper into Synchronicity Explained, why seeing signs is undeniable proof. You're shifting realities, turning you into an expert at reading the language of the universe. Now that you know how to choose the film, what if you could co-write the script with the entire universe? You are not a separate being trying to manifest things. That was the old story. The quantum truth is far more beautiful, far more profound. You are not just a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. Your consciousness is a focal point of the universal consciousness. Your observation is the universe observing itself. Go forward with this knowing. Go forward and consciously, deliberately create the masterpiece you were born to experience.